All right, the time is 6:30 and a quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. First items on the agenda is the approval of minutes for April 2nd and the 16th of 2025. The only comments I have for that is the April 2nd meeting. It says present was Dick Hugo from Woodland Design, and it's actually present was Dick Hugo from Woodland Design, but that's the only discrepancy I saw. If there's any other discussion, not hearing any, could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, agenda item A is a public hearing, request for determination of applicability for Matt Donovan Railroad right-of-way. Is there anybody here for that? Could you please introduce yourself for the record, and if you want to stand up there, by all means, but you can also take the table.
So my name is Matt Donovan from Benish, here representing Keolis for this RDA to confirm the accuracy of the maps used for vegetation management along the commuter rail right-of-way. We submit this RDA to your commission every 5 years, required by CMR 11, and it's required to get these determinations before submitting the 5-year vegetation management plan to Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. The vegetation management plan is designed to manage and control vegetation necessary to keep the railroad in operation safe, and the regulations are in place to keep the sensitive areas protected throughout the duration of the plan. The restrictions can be found in CMR 11.04 as well as our vegetation management plan. The maps we provide you with are mainly made for the chemical portion of the plan, but often dictate where mechanical methods will be used due to chemical restrictions. Each year there are 2 main chemical applications, one in the May to June timeframe that targets the roadbed, and one in the August-September timeframe that targets the brush and areas adjacent to the roadbed. The sensitive areas that are marked with blue and yellow on the maps, which is the whole town is either blue or yellow, so that means they'll only be doing the roadbed application in the town, no brush application in the areas adjacent to the roadbed. So because of that chemical restriction, more effort will be put into controlling that vegetation with mechanical and manual measures. But as far as the roadbed application, that's performed by a spray truck that drives on the track, equipped with nozzles on the backside, spraying the solution directly down. It has arms with nozzles on the arms that target the shoulders of the roadbed up to 12 feet from the center line of the track on each side. There's a certified applicator that's always accompanied with an environmental monitor familiar with the site conditions, equipped with these maps, instructing the operator as necessary. The applicator has the ability to turn off all the nozzles, or in many cases just the side nozzles where it targets the shoulders where it may be getting close to the buffer zone of a sensitive area. The chemicals each year are always going to be from the right-of-way sensitive area material list provided by Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. And we do send that mixture to your commission every year in the yearly operational plan. So we are seeking a positive 2A as well as a negative 2 determination, as your commission has issued in the past. Nothing in the VMP or the maps has changed. So yeah, I can open the floor up if there's any questions or comments.
I was just curious about the chemicals. I think you covered those pretty well, though. My only other question is, you said from the nozzles from the truck,
Yep.
They go out 12 feet in each direction or 12 feet in total?
In each direction, so it's a 24-foot pattern directly as you go down the track, and they can turn those sides off as they. I think there is a spot in your town that just the right side is yellow, so they would just turn the right sides off in that particular area.
All right, any other questions or comments from the commission?
I'm good.
Yeah. So this is just basically a formality you do every 5 years.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity. I mean, a lot of towns do have a lot more mileage of right-of-way, so it's an opportunity for us to fine-tune the maps, but it's pretty simple. in this town, really small.
We got
Not
a
even-
mile of track.
Not even. It nips it in like each corner of your town, on 2 different lines.
And you were requesting a positive determination for one and a negative determination for another thing?
So it would be a positive 2A determination to confirm the maps, and then a negative 2 determination for the work included in the vegetation management plan.
All right.
So a positive 2A and a negative 2.
All right. All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the public who would like to get up and make a comment, now's the time to do so. Give you a few seconds to do that. Not seeing anybody rise, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And I'm just going to go through this very slowly and make sure I get it correctly. Could I have a motion for a positive 2A and a negative 2 determination for this RDA?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Next item is agenda item B, public hearing, request for determination of applicability for Milltown Plumbing, 21 Utah Road, Assessors Map 82, Lot 261. Could you please introduce yourself for the record, and then the floor is yours.
My name is Brian Kearney. I work for Milltown Plumbing and Heating as their operations manager. I'm looking for a request to replace the sewer leaving the home at the southeast corner of the house, which is the farthest location from the Shawshene River, which I believe is where the wetlands is. Conservation, I guess, the conservation land it's considered.
And this is just, it's a replacement of, it's a
Existing.
cast iron pipe, and you're replacing it with a PVC pipe?
Correct.
And it's not under pressure or anything, it's just drainage?
Just natural gravity drain.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
No, no problem. Got to be done.
Before I open it up to the public, we have a few special conditions, which may include the applicant shall install and maintain perimeter controls around the area of work to prevent the deposition of debris into nearby resource areas. Perimeter controls shall remain in place until all areas of erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. These controls shall act as a limit of work. No equipment can be stored or work done past that point. And then prior to any construction activity commencing, the following must be completed. ESCs shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve of the installed ESCs. Finally, all disturbed soil shall be seeded and stabilized before the ESCs may be removed. Any issues with any of those?
Do you have any requirements, or is that going to be any requirements of what erosion control that you would like to see?
We typically go with straw wattles. I think for this straw wattles I'm fine with that unless.
Definitely.
Yeah, like no need for a fence, right? All right. So in that case, this is a public hearing. If anybody in the public who would like to make a comment, now is the time to do so. Not seeing anybody, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Agenda item C, public hearing, request for determination of applicability for Paul Finger, 100 Apple Hill Drive, Assessors Map 38, Lot 2. Could you please introduce yourself for the record, and then the floor is yours.
We'll do in a minute.
Good evening. My name is Paul Finger. I'm with offices at 14 Spring Street in Waltham, Massachusetts, and we're representing Raytheon up on Apple Hill Drive. I'm not sure which hearing is first, but there are two on the same campus. It's
Yes.
different locations, so.
This is for the utility vaults, not the pavement.
Okay.
So if we can just focus on that one.
And again, I have handouts. If people don't have copies of the plans that I have up here, I can certainly hand them out.
I think we all have them.
Okay,
Yeah, we have.
excellent. So this project involves the replacement of some electrical switchgear on the campus. So the campus right now is, there's existing, right here, that's the existing switchgear, and that switchgear is being upgraded and being brought down the hill and being located at this lower level. We're looking for, this is a request for a determination of applicability. The closest resource area is across the road. So this is North Drive. This is North Drive. And then there's a wetland in this upper area. And then basically it flows down to a culvert that runs from the top of the sheet to the bottom of the sheet. This was before you in 2018, I believe in 2020, finished up in 2023. This is the culvert. This project itself was not, but it's within the same area. So the resource area is on the opposite side of the roadway, and it actually slopes down to the BVW that's in this location. So we are on the opposite side of the drive, and what we're proposing is both the relocation of the switchgear to this lower area. In these days, the electrical equipment gets bigger, so, and there's requirements to have concrete pads around it. So by doing that, what we did was we removed a series of parking spaces right in this area, and that's that dark red color. And therefore, when you look at the difference between the parking spaces or the pavement that has been removed compared to the concrete pad around there, there's a net increase in pervious area. So obviously, there's an exchange of asphalt and pavement for, in fact, the concrete pad around the switchgear. In addition to that, there was a request by, this is all part of campus upgrades and everything else like that is occurring. What we decided to do is, there's a existing, actually, this is during the wintertime, a series of stone walls. So the next part of this is a landscape project. And so we're extending the stone wall up and around. So it therefore provides a retaining wall for the switchgear, and therefore all the rest of this is actually landscape. So we're using native materials and also we're removing turf or grass, which is maintained to be slope plantings and landscape material. And I note that basically, some of those portions of that are noted as exemptions from the regulations, but we're doing all this work anyway. We just touch, here's the 50-foot no build area right here. This is the resource area up here, 50 feet here, and then this is 100 feet right here. So between that, this is the amount of area that's affected. And it's really very straightforward. So the advantage of that is that we reduce the slope coming down. It slows down runoff. It basically, there should be no impacts. There's no drainage that's going back towards the wetlands. It all comes down into the drainage system within the parking lot, We have basically silt sacks in the catch basins, and during construction, we'll put basically a wattle around there just to make sure that we have basically adequate protection as they're excavating, because then they need to take conduit from the switchgear down to their transformers, which are located right here. And so you have the civil drawings, you should have details, you should have all of that. And it's as simple as that.
All right. It sounds,
Yeah, it's simple, no.
yeah. I don't have any questions. You explained it pretty well. Anybody else? Any questions or comments from the commission?
The old switchgear will be removed with the pads?
Yes. So in other words, this area is going to be excavated. They're now down in the ground, the vaults, they'll be removed, and then that's landscaped, and we actually noted that they're to be landscaped in the plant material that gets put in its place.
Okay.
All right.
We just want to make sure that it is actually plant material that's put in and not, riprap or something like that.
It's not riprap?
We don't want that to happen. It's happened
no.
before at that facility, so we want to make sure that it is actually plant material going
This
in.
project started as just this switchgear replacement, and basically campus, basically the administration said, let's dress up this area. This is one of their main buildings, it's building 300, so there's a lot of people who look out to that area. Also, very short duration, and one of the reasons for it is this is a very active parking lot, and they need that parking spaces. So there'll be an excavation. This work can occur, but any of the trench work, basically it'll be cut, it'll be pavement removed, conduit put in place, and then it's going to be paid within a day or two.
All right. If there's no more discussion with the commission, I'm just going to read out a few special conditions. They will include: the applicant shall install and maintain perimeter controls around the area of work to prevent the deposition of debris into nearby resource areas. Perimeter controls shall remain in place until all areas of erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. These controls shall act as a limit of work. No equipment can be stored or work done past that point. Prior to any construction activity commencing, the following must be completed: ESCs shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve of the installed ESCs. And finally, all disturbed soil shall be seeded and stabilized before the ESCs may be removed. I think you covered all of that in your initial presentation, though. And with that being said, this is a public hearing. If anybody in the public would like to make a comment, now is the time to do so. Not seeing anybody rise, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make that motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability as discussed at this meeting?
I make that motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, public hearing, request for determination of applicability for Paul Finger, 100 Apple Hill Drive, assesses map 38, lot 2. Could you please introduce yourself for the record, and then the floor is yours.
My name is Paul Finger. I have offices in Waltham at 14 Spring Street. We're representing the applicant, being Raytheon, and RTX is their new name. So this project is just below the, if I could, right up in this area, in fact, there's a corner of it, is the other, no, this one. This is the parking lot that we were just discussing. I apologize. No, wrong orientation. It's up here and over on the cross on this side. So this one is something that they actually started some of their pavement rehab. The site has been around for quite some time. Pavement is showing its age, and basically there's a lot of cracks and everything else. We don't have to actually worry about any unsuitable material because it doesn't indicate that there's areas that are settling that you would be suspect that there's a problem. What we are seeing right now is the fact that we need to basically resurface these parking lots. Now, this is actually two separate parking lots. There's parking lot 8A and parking lot 6, which is just references to how Raytheon refers to them around their campus. This parking lot was before the commission, before the area in white at this lower area was under an earlier filing, and that work has been completed, in fact. So if you go there, this is new pavement, and then there was a saw cut over here, and now we're looking to do the rest of this. There are a couple of other areas, the truck dock, we're going to be repaving and reconstructing the dumpster pads. There's a walkway here that we're going to make this stairs at that location. So it's like 2 or 3 steps, but there's a lot of length to it. So all we're going to do is we're going to reconfigure that so it's ADA accessible. And then the last one is this set of stairs coming up through here. Now, in that particular case, very simple. It's right now a wooden stair, so we're going to change it to a concrete stair. Simple. This particular, according to what we're seeing, this is the culvert that we were talking about earlier that runs through the campus. These are the buffers to it. And so the way that we reviewed it is that this parking lot itself is actually outside the jurisdiction. It doesn't fit any of the setbacks or anything else like that. No difference as far as erosion control. The only difference is we're not doing any excavation, so there's no wattles or anything else, but we'll be putting silt sacks in all the catch basins. On this particular case, all the way out to the left-hand side is where lot 8A is. So we're redoing 8A also. This is the only portion of the buffer zone that basically we're impacting. It's approximately 12,000 square feet, and that's the area that, so while we're reclaiming all of this and repaving that entire section, which is 29,000, this portion of it is the area that falls in jurisdiction, and basically same thing. We're basically having silt sacks will protect any off-site migration of material, and fairly straightforward as far as the work that's being proposed. And that's basically all I have. I can answer any questions that the commission has.
You said you're replacing or reconstructing the dumpster pads. Are those enclosed in any way in fences or anything?
No.
Those aren't.
It's a concrete slab which supports basically the dumpster that sits on top of it.
All right.
That doesn't settle into the pavement.
Right.
All right.
Are you going to be milling any of it? You know, you're not going to mill?
It's all basically mill and repave.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's actually, it's not necessarily, mill is full depth reclamation. But we don't have it, so there won't be any changes in grade. Any excess material will be stored off-site.
All right.
Okay. I'm good.
Any other discussion from the commission? Not hearing.
I don't have anything.
I mean, again, it seems pretty straightforward. It's just that it's behind that main building is being repaved, and then that really big parking lot all the way into the property, the southern portion is being repaved.
Correct.
All right.
Right. 495 is just on the bottom of the sheet.
Oh, yeah. All right. All right, I'm just going to read these proposed special conditions. The applicant shall install and maintain perimeter controls around the area of the work to prevent the deposition of debris into nearby resource areas. Perimeter controls shall remain in place until all areas of erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. These controls shall act as a limit of work. No equipment can be stored or work done past that point. Prior to any construction activity commencing, the following must be completed. ESCs shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve of the installed ESCs. Sound good?
Sounds good to us.
All right. I will open it up to the public. If anybody in the public would like to make a comment, now is the time to do so. Not seeing anybody rise, could I have a motion to close the public
I
hearing?
make that motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Presentation too.
Yeah.
We like,
When do you start the project, sir?
we like pictures.
When do you start the project?
It's already out to bid, and they're going to start as soon as they can. These parking lots are very active, as I said, and
So we
so
were up there at a site visit.
Yeah, and people are going to probably have to park in that back parking lot, which is a mile and a half away or something. All right, agenda item E, public hearing, a request for determination of applicability for Maureen Herald, 110 Navalis Road, Assessors Map 21, Lot 50. When you are all set, could you please introduce yourself for the record, and then the floor is yours.
Okay, good evening. My name's Maureen Herold from Norse Environmental Services, here on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Dave Newhouse. We filed a request for determination of applicability to construct a garage and extend the driveway. The plan that's in front of you right now is a little bit different. The original proposal proposed a detached garage, and this plan right here shows the garage attached to the dwelling. The revised plan actually shows the garage further from the resource area than the original proposal. So we're proposing the garage 90.5 feet from the resource area.
All right.
And I can open it up to the commission with any questions or concerns.
It seems pretty straightforward. It's now fully attached to the main structure of the house and,
That's correct.
all right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I'm good.
Further's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I just,
Straightforward.
I guess the wetlands behind, is that a stream that's going through or is,
There is a stream associated with the BVW. The wetlands that are flagged is just the BVW. I didn't flag the bank of the stream because it's intermittent.
yeah, I mean, the image of the wetland, I mean, like it looks like a really nice wetland. I'm sure it gets very buggy and mosquito-y at certain parts of the year, but you know, I'm not concerned about anything. I just want to point that out, I guess. All right. If there's no further discussion from the commission, I just want to read out some special conditions for this. They may include, the applicant shall install and maintain perimeter controls around the area of work to prevent the deposition of debris into nearby resource areas. Perimeter controls shall remain in place until all areas of erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. These controls shall act as a limit of work. No equipment can be stored or work done past that point. Prior to any construction activity commencing, the following must be completed. All ESCs shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve of the installed ESCs. And all disturbed soil shall be seeded and stabilized before the ESCs may be removed. Any issues with any of those conditions?
Not at all.
Sounds good. All right. That said, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the public who would like to make a comment, please do so now. Not seeing anybody get up, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make that motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability as discussed at this meeting?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Chair votes aye as well.
Great, thank
Thank you
you.
very much. All right, agenda item F is a public hearing, notice of intent for Eco Auto, 623 Main Street, assessors map 34, lot 48, DP file number 305-1215. And when you're all set, you can introduce yourself for the record, and then the floor is yours.
Good evening. For the record, Justin Leclerc, McCarty Engineering, here tonight on behalf of the owners of Eco Auto. So last time we were in front of you, Mr. McCarty was here presenting the plan you see tonight. My understanding is that the remain outstanding item was to have the response letter from TEC back regarding our site plan review submission with the planning board. Since then, we have received said letter from TEC. Their comments have been addressed, and the planning board did issue their approval for the site plan. So the one open one I was aware of that the commission had asked specifically about was regarding the existing infiltration system located under the parking lot of the existing site at 623. TEC did agree that the proposed impervious as part of the repaving going to that system was a de minimis effect, so long as we did verify that the system was functioning adequately. That was a condition that we agreed to and was put on as part of the plan board approval. So I think other than that, if the commission has additional questions, happy to answer them.
Now, remind me, that was just removing the islands to make it more usable in there?
Yes, correct. We were just swapping some island and pavement and restriping the area.
Because, yeah, it's a weirdly set up, it's been a while since we heard this one because of the.
Yeah, we were waiting for planning board and.
But yeah, there's that, I think it's a man-made, is it detention basin?
Yeah, it's almost a man-made basin that was originally in the middle. It's kind of been converted.
Awkwardly placed, but it's.
Yeah. So we're maintaining the limits of the pavement existing, so we're not expanding out this way. The trade-off in that increase is from removing some of the awkwardly shaped islands and add pavement. That's where that.
Make it more usable.
Exactly.
Okay, I remember this now.
All right.
So will you be hiring someone to test the drainage system and make sure it's working?
So we'll verify it. So on top of civil engineers, we are a design build group. So we'll be the contractors for the project as well. So we'll be out there inspecting it prior to when we start construction.
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
I see you.
Not hearing any, I don't know if I read these out the last meeting, but I'm going to read them out again, just in case. So proposed special conditions may include permanent wetland boundary signs that identify wetland resource areas are to be installed along limit of work every 50 to 100 feet. No activity shall occur past these signs. Activities including operation or storage of equipment, vegetation removal, digging, or additional fill. The applicant shall install and maintain perimeter controls around the area of work to prevent the deposition of debris into nearby resource areas. Perimeter controls shall remain in place until all areas of erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. These controls shall act as a limit of work. No equipment can be stored or work done past that point. Prior to any construction activity commencing, the following must be completed. ESCs shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve of the installed ESCs. Finally, prior to the end of activity, all exposed soil must be stabilized. Are you comfortable with all of those?
Yes, the only question I have is regarding the boundaries. What does the commission typically prefer to see?
We have a go-to standard. You're free to use your own. If you reach out to Abigail, she can provide you with one of the drawings of it, but it basically says like, I forget exactly what it says, but it's something along the lines of it's a placard of Tewksbury, Concom,
Okay.
wetland area,
Yeah,
something like that.
we've seen them.
Yeah,
We've had our municipalities, they're very specific on what they want and no deviation, so
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Just make it clear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't
we
have
can
to be
definitely do
ours,
that.
but
So
something
snow
big.
dumping doesn't go on,
Yep.
and, you know, you can't say you didn't know.
Yes.
All right. I will open this up to the public. If there's anybody in the public who would like to make a comment, now is the time to do so. Not seeing anybody rise, could I have a motion to close the public
I
hearing?
make that motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion to approve the notice of intent as discussed at this meeting?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And we have, before we have a bunch of emergency certifications, we have Agenda Item G, minor modification for Robert Weatherall, Chandler Street, Wettlfields. Could you please introduce yourself for the record, and then the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Robert Weatherall, Ipswich, Massachusetts, and I am working for the past 2 or 3 years for the town to design and construct the 3 crossings in the Chandler Wells Field. And here,
Before you go on, could I just have you introduce yourself?
I'm Jason Hool. I work for R. Bates and Sons. We're the general contractor out of Sterling, Mass. that built the boardwalks.
All right, thank you.
well,
Continue.
Jason and his crew have finished the second and third, the final of the final step of the 3 projects, the three crossings. And so with construction complete, the next step is to do the wetlands replication, the planting plan as per the design of GCG, the site plan for the project that you reviewed about a year ago. And in doing a field trip out there with Abigail a few weeks ago, and just assessing the result of the building and the amount of disturbance relative to what was on the plan for the replication, it occurred to me that a modification of the crossing that is between the Harvard Cemetery and Kent Street, essentially, that one, the Peninsula Crossing is called, that it would be, I think, more valuable to revise the planting plans so that the planting is done more on the Kent Street Peninsula side than in the woods leading to the Harvard Cemetery, because the extent of construction wasn't nearly as long in that cemetery end as designed, just we were able to make a landing, so to speak, a ramp to return to grade sooner than GCG had drawn. And so there was really very little, if no, disturbance of plants on that side. But even prior to the construction of that crossing, there'd been a lot of disturbance on the trail that leads off the Kent Street end, just because people have been using it as a sort of a turnaround spot. And then Jason's crew made a more extensive disturbance of the soils and that plants in that area just to make a natural return to grade. So that's a long-winded way of saying it'd be better, I think, to put the plants at that end than at the replication and as designated on the engineering site plan.
All right, I'm having a little bit of difficulty picturing where exactly you're talking about. It's the Peninsula Crossing.
Yeah.
So you go down from Whipple Road in Shawshene. You park there, you go all the way down, you see all the dirt piles from the town storage and stuff.
Oh, yeah, coming in there where the wells actually are, the wellheads are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you continue going down, you eventually go to that nice bridge that kind of curves to the left.
Yep.
You keep going, and you can, eventually you get to the point where you can go right, and there's the bridge, the boardwalk that you leveled off a few years ago, and then the new bridge that goes across. Is that the peninsula
So
that you're talking
you've
about?
come across the curve, and you've started north essentially along the wetlands edge and walk all the way up as well. A year ago, you walked to a certain point where it ended. The trail ended because the stream runs through Heathbrook, probably tributary Heathbrook. So now there's a Now there's a crossing there that runs over towards Eleanor Street, really, but that's even past through the chain link fence and forest is between the wetland and the Harvard Cemetery. And then the town's got an easement of travel over that land now. That's the crossing we're talking about.
That's the crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've always come in off Kent Street. I think you stayed
all
off
right.
Kent Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We did a
that's
repair, he did a
close.
repair of an existing crossing that ran, I forget the name of it.
So the one that you're talking about that we re-leveled that again?
Yeah, the re-leveled one, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so, and it's basically, you're walking down, computer's kind of freaking out, don't know what's going on. So it basically on the trail, you have the Chandler Well fields to the left of you, or I guess it's all the Chandler Well fields. You have the pond, let's say the water to the left, you have if you go to the right, you'll eventually get to Eleanor Street and stuff.
Eventually, yeah,
Eventually.
yeah.
All right, and you're proposing to put the plantings whereabouts?
Well, if you see what the engineers drew for replication area, planting area, on the north end, the sort of northwest, but the northwest end of the peninsula crossing, sort of a parallelogram of patch replication area.
Do you have a page number for that?
Yeah, keep flipping. As long as you know, here you go.
So this is page 5 of 6 on the GCG Association's drawings.
And GCG shows an extension of the crossing, well, the proposed crossing, they're running as sort of a gray area, because that was the vegetation, the idea, what would be disturbed vegetation, so they put the replication area off to the side of it, but none of that area has been disturbed by the crossing.
All right.
So it seems better to take that area and move it over to diagonally down right, so to speak, to the southeast.
All right, and it's going to be the same size area?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We wouldn't, no change to the plan as it's articulated in that set of drawings? I mean, no change to the scope and to the planting
All right.
species.
All right.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I never go in that way,
yeah.
so I was kind of twisted around myself.
I guess with the amount of water that's there, maybe it's just I'm biased because of how much it's been raining. It feels like all of that area could very soon be wetlands and, it will extend even further. So whatever happens, there's going to be even more wetlands around there and stuff.
Could be, yeah, the beaver activity down at the south end where we did the first curve, that's backed it up.
All right, yeah. That seems to back up every year, but even with the snow and ice, it never quite froze over 100%.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of flow,
Yeah, I bet it's pretty high right now. We haven't been out for a few weeks, but I bet it's pretty high today.
yeah. All right, any questions or comments? Seems pretty straightforward.
I'm good.
Yeah,
All right, could I have a motion to approve the minor modification?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Very good,
Thank you very
thanks.
much.
And
Thank you, Jen.
Jason wants to get in there and get those plants in quite soon, so
Yeah.
then we'll want to sign off on the project. Have you guys.
Yeah, well, we did all of our wetland seeding in the fall. So we were out there, like I said, 3 weeks ago, and we could already see some of it starting to germinate. So, hopefully now it's that area that the seed is taken off a little bit more. We can get in the plantings and get the erosion controls removed.
Well, it helps to have that big yellow thing in the sky too, yeah.
Yep,
I had to think about that for a second.
yep.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Abigail.
All right, now we have 4 emergency certs. The first one is emergency certification for 5 Florence Avenue, Assessors Map 94, Lot 192. Could you fill us in on the details for this one?
Yeah, so it's for the removal of 2 dead trees. There is a letter from an arborist attached certifying that they're dead and damaged.
Any discussion on these? It's Chuck's Tree Service that is the arborist, or is it?
No, it's a separate
For
arborist.
dragons?
Oh, wow. All right.
He's got it. I'm good.
All right. Could I have a motion to ratify the emergency certification?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Agenda item I, emergency certification for 17 Henry J. Drive, Assessors Map 45, Lot 40.
That's for the tie-in to sewer. They have a failed Title V.
Field Title 5, and that's, I wasn't quick enough to make a joke about a dragon, Wyvern, or whatever they're called. It seems pretty straightforward. It's just going around the house. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I have none.
Could I have a motion to ratify the emergency certification?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Agenda item J, emergency certification for 109 Kennedy Road, Assessors Map 21, Lot 71.
This is for the removal of 2 dead trees. These trees are leaning down onto another tree right in their yard. They have a letter from Chuck's Tree Service.
That's the one that is, all right. Again, seems pretty straightforward. Any questions or comments from the commission?
So, I have none.
Could I have a motion to ratify the emergency cert?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Finally, agenda item K, emergency certification for 905 South Street, Assessors Map 98, Lot 201.
This is to tie into sewer. They have a failed Title V.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
So when you say a failed Title V, do you mean a failed septic system? Or it was actually, did meet Title V and now is failed?
So, it's a failed septic system. The Title V inspector goes out and then sends a letter to the health department, and then the health department signs off on that letter and gives it to me. So in this case, it says that it's a failed septic, and that they must make the necessary arrangement to connect to the sewer system.
Yeah, I just was wondering, because if it was Title V, if it met Title V, it shouldn't be failing.
No,
Yes.
it's specific that it doesn't.
Okay.
And that's never the town employee who goes out and inspects. It's always a third-party plumbing of some sort, business.
It's
Yeah.
the same guy we see all the time. Charles Rowe.
Yeah, and
I'm looking at his name.
in some cases, they do conditional passes. So we have one coming up that's I didn't get it on this agenda, but it's an emergency cert. They passed the failed Title V. However, the D box is failing. So the distribution box has failed. They have to fix it, although they technically have a conditional pass of their Title V.
But that hasn't, that's going to be on the next agenda.
That's not this one, but
Yeah.
it's a unique one.
So they can repair the septic.
All right, if there's no more discussion, could I have a motion to ratify the emergency certification?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, we have a little bit of old business or we have a little bit of new business or admin reports for 97 Could you fill us in on the details, Abigail?
Yeah, so this is for a proposed project, 927, 937 North Street. And as they were going through everything, they found that there are, as they were doing the survey, they found wetland flagging just off-site at 927, which is just north of 937, and then across the street at 20 International Place. They found wetland flagging around what appeared to be drainage features. Those drainage features, we found plans from DPW and elsewhere that they were built prior to 1990, or no, sorry, apologies, after 1996, which is, typically when CMR says that it like has naturalized itself into a wetland. But I just wanted to confirm with the commission that they do not need filing for these areas that are, they have water, they are wet, but they are drainage features.
Right, so that's on this property or someone else's property?
They're off property, but the buffer zone would cast onto this property.
Okay, got it. All right.
And realistically speaking, even if we were to say, oh, we think this is our jurisdictional area, they could just appeal and, the state overlords would say, you're wrong, and tell us that it's designed and implemented after 1996, therefore it's not our jurisdictional area, because you can't naturalize after that date. It's what I'm understanding.
That was my
I don't think you want to
understanding.
comment on
That was my
our state
understanding.
overlords.
This letter from Norse Environmental, who's working with the property owner or the people making the plan, say that there are plans from 1998 for the drainage feature on 927, 1998, and then 2011 for the one across the street, or the one above, the one across the street.
Well, the good thing is we could identify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we need to do?
I just need you to tell me that they don't need to file or they do need to file.
Yeah, I don't think they need to file.
Yeah, whatever you said, yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
All right. If there's no old business, new business, administrators' reports, or anything else, I will take a motion to adjourn to the next meeting of May 28th, 2025. Do I
I
have a motion?
make that motion.
Do I have a second?
You know it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.